Hello friends, Tanya here for Trinity Stamps, and I have a special video today wishing you a happy Easter. Really, I just needed to sneak this in before the Easter season was over. We have these adorable Easter gnomes. There's the all cracked up stamp set and the Gnome Bunny stamp set. I'm using this Gnome Bunny stamp set here, and I'm taking the eggs and the flowers and I'm creating a background with my Versamark ink. I'm just going to scatter these all over. I take the biggest image first and I try to do a triangular pattern, and then I take the next smallest, or excuse me, next biggest, and just work my way down, and then use the little flowers to make some filler images to fill this whole panel out. Then I hold it up to the light and look for any more blank spots and make sure I get all of those little spots filled in without overlapping my images. You can't really see very well how I'm doing that with the Versamark, but it'll become a little more apparent here. I was originally going to use some white satin pearl embossing powder, which is how I usually do it, but for some reason I decided to go with the clear. So you're still not going to see these images very much, but you might see them a little bit. And they're going to really kind of pop when I go on to the next portion of how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take my MISTI here and flip it over and use that magnetic back to hold some masks in place. Now Trinity Stamps does have a masking heart stencil set, and it has 4 different sizes of hearts that you can stencil with, and it has the positives and the negatives, which is perfect. At least I believe it does. I don't have it yet. It's in my shopping cart. I have had to cut heart stencil masks more than once, recently even, and I just think a mask or a stencil would be much handier. Now I'm using 3 of the Atelier Ink on 3 inks. Here I've got the Sweet Petunia Pink, and right now I'm using the Bee Sting Yellow, and later I will add the Marigold Orange. Well, maybe not on this project. The next one. I really am quite smitten with this particular color combo. I'm using the Modern Embossed Rectangles die here to cut out that panel. Backed it with some coaster blank, and I'm adhering it to an A2 size card. I have my little gnome here all colored with Copic markers, and I had not really realized when I colored him that the hat was supposed to be bunny ears. So we have an orange bunny ear hat here. I think it looks good. What do you think? I did add the sentiment from the stamp set, which says Gnome Bunny loves you like I do, which I think is adorable. And I pulled out these heart jelly cinnamon colored hearts from my stash of Trinity embellishments. They are still available. And now we're going to move right on to our next card. I did 2 cards with the same blended color combo, the Sweet Petunia Pink, the Marigold Orange, and the Bee Sting Yellow. And I think it's just such a bright, warm, fun color combo. Now I'm laying down all of those colors as a base coat, and I'm not making you watch the entire process. I do blend the 2 here, going back and forth between the pink and the yellow to create the orange in the middle. And the next step is I'm going to use that same trick, using my MISTI to hold down my stencil, no glue needed. And I'm using one of the polka dot or dotted stencils to create a tone-on-tone stenciled background. I did again use the Sweet Petunia over the Sweet Petunia, or the pink over the pink, the yellow over the yellow, and I will bring in the orange just so I don't have to work quite so hard to get the blending accomplished here. Instead of going over it with both colors, I'll just go over it with one. If you have all 3 of the color inks, that works great. If you only have 2 of them, that works too. I wanted a little spattering here, so I'm just taking some clean, clear water. Actually, it's probably not all that clean, and it has some sparkle in it because I keep rinsing the liquid pixie dust out of my brush. And I used the Slimline stitched panels and the Slimline modern embossed panels to create a couple of layers here for this one. I cut this one out, the colored background, with the modern embossed rectangles. Sorry, modern embossed Slimline panels. And I have my colored images here. I did add a little coaster blank to the back of the stenciled and ink blended background before I adhered that to the Slimline card, which is 3.5 by 8.5 inches. And I'm gluing down these eggs just flat to the panel. I did put a little coaster blank behind, or a little dimension behind our gnome popping out of that cracked Easter egg. And I'm just going to adhere him quick. And then we needed a sentiment. I did use the sentiment from, I think it is the All Cracked Up stamp set. Yep, it is. And I'm going to heat emboss this with gold embossing powder. Just going to use some Versamark. I did make sure to use my embossing buddy, my powder bag there, my homemade cornstarch in a sock. And I'm going to heat this up quickly. Who doesn't love a good embossed sentiment? I don't know that I do a sentiment without embossing it hardly ever anymore. Just a little bit of coaster blank behind that on this trimmed out sentiment, and I struggled with where to put it, but this worked great. I'm going to add several of these beautiful halfback pearls, which are currently, all but one of the colors are sold out. The Luminous Lemon, which is the first one I put down, is still in stock. That was the Pearly Pink, and now I'm doing the Captivated Cantaloupe. And those added just the perfect touches. So if you have them in your stash, awesome. If you don't, come back later for most of those. If you are interested in any of the product I used today, be sure to check in the description box below. Subscribe if you haven't done that. Make sure you come back again soon. Take a moment and leave me a comment and let me know which of these cards you enjoyed more. Have you used the stenciling technique like this before? And have you used your MISTI to hold down your stencils? If you haven't, it's worth a try and one less tool you have to buy. We have a couple of more videos linked here for you to enjoy. And I hope you have a wonderful Easter with your family and that you'll come back again soon. Until next time, bye-bye.